Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to this steaming hot pile of nothing that I like to call a podcast. Oh, it's Monday. Monday. Had a good weekend. Had a busy weekend. Some friends came over, some out-of-town friends, and you know, we hung out and, of course, got some drinks in us and chilled and went to a friend's pool, and it was fun. It was great. Wound up doing some yard work yesterday, and I just realized that I'm turning into my father. I don't know if any of you have done that or how old you are to get to that point. I'm 27, and when I was 17, I was like, I'm going to do better than my parents. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to do this and this and this. And I look back now that I'm 27, I look at the things that I do, and I am my parents. And it's really weird. You know? Like my dad, you know, he just worked all the time. That's what he did, you know. Worked during the week. Then on the weekend, he'd do more work. It's just what he did. You know, drink here and there. And then he'd do yard work. And it's literally what I wound up doing yesterday. Had a couple of beers, did some yard work. I am becoming my father. And I don't know I don't know if it's good or bad. You know, it's like to think that you keep the good and you get rid of the bad, but you never know. I know I don't. Let's see what else has happened. The United States Olympic basketball team lost to France. Now, granted, France has a pretty okay team. They have a pretty decent team. But come on, man. I don't know if any of you were able to watch the Olympics, but the United States looked terrible. Looked absolutely terrible, and especially in the clutch. They wound up giving up like a 7-point lead. I think they gave it up in like 15 seconds. I'm kidding. It wasn't 15 seconds, but it was like down in the clutch of the game, they blew a 7-point lead because they just do what the NBA has been. They just shoot bad threes. That's what they do. They live and die by the three-point line, and they just shoot bad shots. They don't do anything else. France had Rudy Gobert, who's a big dude, and granted, he's a good defensive player, okay? But had him switch onto Kevin Durant in multiple situations, and Kevin Durant just shoots it over him. He misses it. So it's not like he's like, you know, just tearing him to pieces. He's missing these shots, and he's shooting over Rudy Gobert. Just go around him. If they're going to switch out top, just go around him. So frustrating to watch. Again, these are professional players, and they're much better than me, but it's just so frustrating to watch the United. We had basketball, kind of. The last couple Olympic teams haven't been super great. And granted, this isn't all of our best players, but it's a lot of them. It is a lot of them. And, you know, we expect a lot. This is a huge deal. I don't know what the exact years was, but this is like the first loss the United States has had in the Olympics in forever. And I think total it's like 5 losses, I think. Without exhibition games, I think the United States has lost like 5 or 6 games or something like that ever. And we just lost another one. The team doesn't look good at all. So, maybe I'll just root for somebody else because they look terrible. Like really bad. Maybe we need to get some like younger people. You know? Like Japan, there was a 13-year-old from Japan that won the women's street event for skateboarding. Got a gold medal. 13. Maybe we need to try that with basketball. Because the girl that got silver behind the 13-year-old girl from Japan was a 13-year-old from Brazil. Got a silver medal. 2 13-year-olds. Maybe we need to try, 13, 14-year-olds. Let's do it. Why not? At this point, I mean, if we're just gonna piss away leads at the end of games, why not? Let's stick some ninth graders in there and see what they can do. It's got to be better than the shit that we're putting out right now because we look awful. I really can't believe there's a lot of young Olympic athletes this year. And I'm not sure what's attributing to that. Maybe just the athletes are getting younger just in general. And it also makes you wonder, like, whenever kids train like that early, are they going to be able to do it long term? Does their body hold up? Does their mental hold up? Do they burn out? You know what I mean? Like, you can love something a ton and still burn out from it. I don't know. Like, is the 13-year-old girl from Japan and the 13-year-old girl from Brazil going to continue to just run tables? Or is there going to be a fucking 4-year-old that pops up that's just ripping shit on a skateboard? What do we do then? You got like a baby riding a tech deck, like popping a manual and like riding a tech deck or some shit. How much younger can they possibly get? Gonna start birthing Olympic athletes just immediately? It's insane. If any of you have been watching the Olympics or you care at all or you've seen the headlines, I mean, it's nuts. There's been some crazy stuff. And once again, maybe it is just skateboarding or something. Maybe it's got something to do with that. Because there was like a 7-year-old that like went viral or something. I'm not kidding. This is like real shit that's happening. I swear I'm not pulling that one out of my ass. The 4-year-old's a bit much, but the 7-year-old, that's real. That's a very real thing that's happened. And I don't know. What do you do? What do you do? I don't know. I don't really get. Again, we talked about the Olympics because it's what's going on right now. Like, it's just weird. It's weird the way they treat the athletes too. So obviously they have like these young kids, right? They showed these anti-sex beds that they had to prevent the Olympic athletes from fucking each other at the Olympics to try to like reduce COVID spread. But for all intents and purposes, nobody gives a shit. Like, these are the most athletic people in the entire world. Like, I'm pretty sure they can just fuck on the floor if they want. Or standing up if they want. I'm sure they're pretty flexible. They can do some weird shit. And it was hilarious because these beds, they were posting them on Twitter. They were so proud of them. They're like standing there like, look at what we came up with. Good luck getting it in now. And it's just like a glorified cardboard box. That's literally what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to collapse under the weight of like more than one person, right? They were like so proud of it. Look at these beds. Yeah, they break. These motherfuckers break real beds. What do you mean? What are you hoping to accomplish? These are the most athletic people in the world. You don't think they haven't broken some actual beds? They don't care. They don't care. They stay fucking. They're just insatiable. How do you think they got to the top of their craft? These people persevere. Okay? Every athlete in the Olympics, they persevere and they push through boundaries and they crush glass ceilings, okay? They push through it. Think a little cardboard's going to get in their way? No. There's some fucking going on. And it's happening no matter how much cardboard you put underneath them. Might actually help just cushion the fall a little bit, Okay, enough Olympics talk. On to the next thing, which is DaBaby, the rapper. Okay? Whether you listen to his music or not, this is fucking hilarious. So DaBaby was performing at a festival. I don't remember what it's called. Rolling something. Rolling Loud, maybe? That sounds about right. I think it was like a weed reference. So performing at this festival, right? And gets a shoe thrown at him while he's like talking. He's like, talking like in between songs, whatever. Gets a shoe thrown at him. And he fucking just like quick, mid-sentence, jukes this shoe, right? Just narrowly misses him. Whoever was throwing it was very accurate. I think they have some experience throwing shoes on stage. But he slips this shoe like a professional boxer and then just looks back and says, "Who threw that goddamn Adida?" Adida. As in singular shoe. The singular form of Adidas. Who threw that goddamn busted ass Adida? That's what he called it, a busted ass Adida. First of all, if you have seen this clip, that shoe is coming pretty fast. And he somehow, mid-sentence, looks at the shoe, identifies the brand of the shoe, dodges the shoe, and then goes right back into what he's doing. And I have no idea. That's got to be a skill. That has to be. It was impressive. It was impressive. And then to top it off, he calls it an Adida. All day I dream about Adida. No sports in the end. Just no S. Just cut it off. If you didn't know that Adidas is an acronym for that, it's all day I dream about sports. That's what Adidas is supposed to stand for. But he just cut the sports off. Who threw that goddamn busted ass Adida? Who threw that shit at me? Who threw the Adida? I'm gonna start referring to it like that. Babe, you see my left Adida? Okay, well, what about my right one? I need both of them. I need two Adida. Oh my God, that's the funniest shit that I have seen. And the video is great too. It's like a little 7-second clip and he just whoop. I can only imagine if that shoe had hit him, it wouldn't have been nearly as funny because assaulting fucking performers, you can go to hell. You see that a lot in the NBA, like this year. You saw that a lot. I think people have forgotten how to act. Due to COVID and quarantine and being told that they're special their entire life, they feel like they can just fucking act out and do whatever. And for all we know, the guy that threw the shoe was like recording a TikTok because that's what people do now. They do outlandish shit and do it recording a fucking TikTok and hope that it gets them some followers on that platform. And it's sad, man. It's sad. Like you saw all sorts of shit getting thrown at NBA players this year. Like, more so than what I've ever seen. This season, when they brought fans back, there was more shit getting thrown at players than I've ever seen. And I've been watching the NBA since I was a kid. And granted, like, you see it sometimes, right? You see it, but not on the scale. Like, it was like almost every night somebody's getting something thrown at them or thrown on them or whatever. And it's like, dude, these are people. They're not fucking zoo animals. Like what are you doing, dude? They're not there. What was this, the Roman Colosseum or something? Like, no, you don't throw shit on a professional athlete or any performer for that matter. You wouldn't throw it on somebody walking down the street. Keep your shit to yourself. Eat your fucking popcorn. Throw your bottle away. Don't throw it on the court, you jackass. I really do think, like, I don't know how many of these people got arrested or motherfucking neighbors, dude. What the fuck are you doing out there, huh? I don't know if you guys can hear it. There's fucking goddamn farmers and shit. How dare you farm with your fucking tractor? I don't know if you guys could actually hear that. They're just leave performers alone. Watch them perform, and then go home. That's all you got to do. Like, leave him alone. Leave Britney alone. I know people didn't throw shit at Britney, but the fucking free Britney, man. Leave her alone. What's happening to her is fucking sad. Leave it alone. And they're trying to do the same shit to Lil Nas. And I don't get it. Leave that motherfucker alone. Not that he really cares, probably. You know, you can't fuck with internet kids. That's always the joke. Like, kids that were raised on the internet, that, you know, they came up through the fucking garbage disposal that is the internet and comments and all of that. You can't really fuck with them. But he recently did his new music video with Jack Harlow called Industry Baby. And, of course, people are freaking out about it because he's gay and he's black. And people hate that he's gay and black and succeeds. And he makes good music. I mean, shit. Whether you like it or not, like, it's generally known, like, you know, whether it's your taste or not, he's made good music. A lot of people enjoy his music. And I liked his new song. I liked Industry Baby. I did. And of course, fucking people, like The Big Magazine, people fucking tweeted that the reason that quoted him, okay, literally put it in quotation marks and said, y'all are just mad because y'all hate gay people. Put that in the headline. So obviously Nas fucking quote tweeted it and was like, y'all know what y'all are doing. Stop this. Like, just leave him alone. Leave him alone. I know that when you put yourself out there, right? You put yourself out there, it's like part of the territory. Like, oh, you need to own up to the critiques in the headlines. Fuck that. Yeah, you can put yourself out there, but like, stuff has changed so much in terms of like how people react and talk about celebrities and performers, and everything has to be somewhat negative. It's fucking annoying. Like, it kind of goes back to the thing that I was talking about with Twitter, how they changed Twitter, and now the thing that gets the most replies gets put at the top as like the top comment, and it's always some ignorant shit because people are just dunking on this person, which is great, but like, that's the first thing you see. You see a post, and then right underneath it you see some dude being like, well, you really fell off. You need to make better music. Yeah, and you give that guy fucking attention over the person that's either being supportive and it's a nice message so you like it, or it's something funny that's adding to it and making it more enjoyable. Like, the first one or two things you see or read is some dude being like, you fell off. Young boy better. Like, you know, shit like that. And it's just, it's awful. And the fucking, like, and like the media like, they feed into it. All of them do. With these shit headlines and these awful just excerpts. And this clickbait garbage. And the reason why is because they're failing. They are failing. Say it with me. Failing. And they need it. They need it. They're happy when shit goes wrong. And I don't think, this is me personally, and maybe it's just my generation, maybe. I don't think people are necessarily more inclined to click on controversy or awful shit, because I feel like people are getting tired of it. And to be honest, the younger generation is smarter than that. The people that are clicking on it, on these headlines, are older people. The people that are still following these news outlets are older people and motherfuckers like me that do this. And I don't even really follow it. It just pops up on like trending or something, or it'll be on like my homepage or some stupid shit, right? If that's even news. But they're failing. And they don't know how to right the ship. I know how. Stop. Close up shop. Just stop. Because you've been doing it wrong for so many years, you don't know how to do it right anymore. You don't know how to report the news without being horribly unbiased, or horribly biased, sorry. I was recently, I watched a YouTube video that was an old interview with Trevor Noah. And I don't know who the lady was interviewing him, but she was horrendous. Horrendous. Just looked like a screaming Reddit user. Like, she's interviewing him about, jokes that he's made in the past. And he was like, no, I think that's funny. She, read one of his jokes back to him. He's like, no, I think that's funny, even whenever you say it. And as bad as you say it, as bad as you read it, I think it's funny. And, she's just, pushing him in this interview, right? And he's coming back, Trevor Noah is a very intelligent guy, right? But he's very composed, and you can tell, he's a professional, And she is hitting him with, shouldn't you apologize for this? Shouldn't you regret these things? This other black comedian said that he regretted his jokes that were kind of sort of like yours. And he was like, those jokes aren't the same. I'm not apologizing for it because those jokes are not the same. And I stand by what I say. And she just keeps twisting it and manipulating it. And every time he starts coming back with an answer, he's a very well-spoken guy. And every time he's coming back with an answer, she'll interrupt him and be like, yeah, but don't you think that some people would take offense to the things that you're saying? Yeah, but don't you think, but just constantly interrupting him. That's a horrible way to interview somebody. In a lot of ways, you can't have an opinion and be a journalist. You can, but you're never going to be considered, in my eyes, an actual news person. You're a sensationalist more than a journalist. You speak in absolutes and in hyperboles, and you blow everything out, and it's just full of your bullshit and your own garbage trauma, and you call it news. And it's terrible. It is terrible, especially whenever she's constantly saying these things like, don't you think that some people wouldn't like that joke? And Trevor Noah's like, yeah, I get it. Some people probably won't like that joke. Okay. When you do comedy, not every joke is for every single person. It's not. It's just the nature of it. No matter how amazing you are at joke writing, storytelling, things like that, not every joke is going to make you just bust a gut laughing. You might not agree with some of the things that are being said, but hey, it's a comedy show. Maybe fucking deal with it. I mean, you know what I mean? Maybe just fucking deal with it. You don't have to like that person, but that person also doesn't have to change their behavior based on how you're feeling on the inside. I really feel like everyone should listen to me. It's my turn to talk. Shut up. Not everybody has to do. Do you do that at work? Or just in your personal life? Just every single time somebody says something that you may not agree with, you're immediately like, hey, you need to fucking apologize. No, you don't. So why the fuck do you do that to somebody who's performing an act? Is it because they're readily accessible and they're right there in front of you and you're not actually addressing them personally? Is that why? I think it is. I think you're a bitch. I think you're a coward. Write a couple of angry tweets. Fucking start a blog and a newsletter. Fuck you. And that interviewer that was doing that, she just has just so much. She's just so badly wanting, a clickbait article headline. Trevor Noah is a racist. Trevor Noah He just like apologizes for being racist, and then obviously you know that there's going to be a bunch of people that are like, oh my god, look, I knew it, I knew he was a piece of shit. That's what she wanted. He never gave it to her, and it made me happy. Granted, this was an older interview, but like you just can't bring your personal bias into like a news reporting or being a journalist. You can't, because no matter what you do, it will put a positive or a negative spin on whatever you're writing, and it won't quite be the real thing. It won't sound the same. The tone of it will be different. It won't be the real story. It takes a special person to be a journalist, to report on the facts and the story. It takes a special person. And unfortunately, people started getting into journalism and news for the glamour of it. And the look at me, look at how important I am, look at how good I look. And today, in the news, more me. And that's really sad. Like, they got into it to be popular, to get people to look at them and be like, oh, wow, you look so good. Oh, you sound so great. And it takes a special person to be somebody that's like, I don't really care about all the frills of the stuff. I just want to tell you how things actually went. And obviously in an ideal world, that's how it should be. This is how it's going. This is what's happening. But due to all sorts of things, whether it be censorship or money, I'm sure there was a time whenever the news was the news. I'm sure there was, because that's what people cared about. But now everything on the news. Have you guys tried to watch the news recently? Like, if you still have cable, have you tried to watch that shit recently? There's all these like fucking flashing colors and tickers on the bottom and fucking breaking news constantly, and it's just garbage. It's garbage. My wife likes the news for the weather. She likes to watch the weather. Because that's the one thing that's not being, like, sensationalized to the max. Because everybody's putting their own fucking biases in there. And if you're interviewing somebody and you're supposed to be a news journalist and you're supposed to be interviewing this person, you can't constantly interrupt them to interject your own shit. Like, you know what I mean? Because you're no longer interested in, if you've got, like, a heavy bias, then you're no longer interested in the person that you're interviewing. You don't give a shit what they say. You're trying to change their mind about whatever the thing is that you want them to say. You want a specific answer. You don't want their answer. You want them to say the thing that you want. You want them to, like, reaffirm your own fucking ideals. And it's garbage. And that's all it is now. And they're failing. Again, say it with me. Failing. These news outlets are fucking tanking. Their ratings are in the garbage. Especially after the whole, like, Trump thing. I call it the Trump thing, like he wasn't president of the United States for 4 years. Like, without him, dude, like, everybody knew it was going to happen. That without him to talk about, that the news was gonna just fall off. That was all that was on the news, was him. And it's really sad too, because there's a lot of, like, comics that was their act, was Donald Trump. Saturday Night Live is a perfect example. Saturday Night Live just constantly trying to dunk on Donald Trump like they've run out of material. Which I wouldn't want to work at Saturday Night Live anyway. I make jokes about it because, like, I think I have a little bit of nostalgia for Saturday Night Live. It was, like, one of the first sketch shows that I really enjoyed as a kid, and then I found the Chappelle Show, and I was like, oh my god, this is so much funnier. Probably watched it a little too early, but yeah, I wouldn't want to work at SNL either. Everybody that's been on that show talks about what a horrible work environment it is. In terms of, like, just people stealing premises and jokes and all sorts of shit. Like, if you pitch something at Saturday Night Live, it's no longer yours. They keep it. Like, that's theirs. Like just you pitching it. Like maybe you've had a premise, an idea, like whatever. You're kind of working some jokes out for it, and you pitch it in a boardroom meeting. I say a boardroom meeting, in like just a meeting or a brainstorm or whatever they're doing, right? Writer's room. They'll just keep the shit. They're like, okay, this is ours now. We might not use it. We may not, but you can't use it anymore. And it's fucking crazy. Like people just steal. Like more experienced people steal from newer people constantly. Like everybody that's leaving the show, right, is all saying the same thing. And that's a horrible environment to work in. That's not conducive to like a creative environment. And Saturday Night Live doesn't launch careers like it used to. I think people put up with it, but I can't speak on it because I wasn't there. But generally, like all the people that came from Saturday Night Live that had their careers like take off afterwards never really had bad shit to say about SNL, right? But they had all done much larger shit after that because it had just propelled them to new heights. And it's like now, like people don't need that. If you have a YouTube channel, you're good. You don't need Saturday Night Live. You can do everything that Saturday Night Live does in a YouTube channel. There's better YouTube creators than there are people at fucking SNL. It's crazy. Like, why would you want to work under that stress? It doesn't make sense. Fuck that. Start you up a YouTube channel. Do your own thing. Start up a podcast. Do your own thing. Like, as much as I say that, I would still consider it. Like, if for whatever reason hell froze over and pigs are flying overhead, if SNL contacted me and was like, hey, we want you inside of us, I'd consider it. Because that's how stupid I am. You know? That's how stupid I am. Like, SNL doesn't launch careers anymore. It doesn't do anything for you to be on SNL, to be perfectly honest. It just doesn't. And quite frankly, like, if they contacted me to be, like, a writer or something, I would 100% say no. Because that is not fun. Some people love that shit. Some people love just writing and writing sketches and premises and jokes, and I can't fucking stand it. Like, if I write it and I come up with it, I am going to fucking do that shit. That's mine. I'm doing it. I feel like this went really off the rails, but it seems to be a trend for me lately. I just have so much shit. I haven't, we didn't do one of these for a couple days. It's a nice weekend break, and maybe that's what I'll do. I'll just fucking, just record these whenever I have shit to talk about. To be honest, I started recording this because I had made some notes about the Trevor Noah interview, and then I saw the DaBaby thing, and I was like, I have to bring this. Adida, that busted ass Adida. I'm gonna get a shoe deal. Get my own shoe deal called Busted Ass Adida. It's like pre-owned Adidas. Just like not slightly used. I'm talking these things are like 8-year-old on the playground type used. You know, they got like that rock dust on them from like the swings and shit. The soles are like flapping. That's what you buy. It's essentially what Kanye's been selling in his clothing line for years anyway. Speaking of fucking Kanye, he's like living in a stadium to finish what's his new album, Donda? He's living in the stadium. He had like an all red suit on, like a puffy suit, and then he had like pantyhose over his head. He looked like he was gonna like rob a bank in a movie or something. He had like pantyhose over his head. And don't get me wrong, there are eccentric people in the world, and sometimes those eccentric people, because of how they are, they can make some amazing shit. And I think Kanye's made some really good music. And again, it goes back to like, I can't tell if he is getting wilder or if it's just more in front of us. Because, dude, seeing him standing there in that stadium with the fucking thing on his head. And maybe that was an old picture or something, but I thought it was a new picture. I hope it was a new picture. But, maybe that was an older picture of him or something. But, yeah, he's living in, what stadium is it? The Benz Stadium. Let me see. Let me make sure really quick. I'm just going to put in Kanye. It's going to come up. I know it will. Yeah, Kanye West living at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Kanye's Donda listening party featured $40 hot dogs. Celebrities aren't real, dude. They're not real. That's not real. It's just $40 hot dogs. Come on. $40 hot dogs, dude. Celebrities, they're not real. They're not real people. They're not. I don't get it. I don't understand it, and I don't ever want to understand it. Because if I understand it, then I'm too far gone at that point. If I ever look at something, I'm like, oh, a $40 hot dog. That's very reasonable. Then I'm too far gone, and I want one of you to run me over with your car. If you see me in the streets and I ever advocate for a $40 hot dog or me going to space just for fun, I want you to ram me with your car at the top speed. Okay? Because if you hit me and I'm still alive, I'm going to be pissed. Because that's going to hurt like a motherfucker. I need you to end it. Because I'm too far gone. There's no saving me at that point. A $40 hot dog. Eat my ass. What? It's not a hot dog anymore. They took like Wagyu beef, stuck it in a tube, called it a hot dog. What if that's what it was? What if they didn't even... What if it wasn't even a hot dog? They just had, like, prime rib on a plate and called it a hot dog. This is our hot dog bar. Show up at some fucking like crazy cut of steak or something. This is our hot dog bar. It's really great. And over here you can get red or blue slushies. And it's just like tequila. It's not even like an icy or a slushy or anything. Just like bottles of tequila. They just call everything something different because they're not real. They've probably made up their own language. I don't get it. I will never understand celebrities. I will never understand Hollywood. I will never understand quote unquote the industry. I won't. But that's also why I sit in a tiny room and talk to myself. It's because I won't understand it. And if I ever do, you guys have to promise me to end it, okay? Don't do it if I talk shit to you on fucking Twitter, okay? That's not what I'm talking about. I'm saying if I go full Hollywood and I'm walking around with $40 hot dogs, okay, then you can end it. That's that. But no, we're not doing it. You know, if I'm like, oh, you're fucking stupid, don't do that. Then you're just a baby. But I need that favor, that one favor of you listening to this. You see me in the street with a $40 hot dog, you run me over. Well, that was everything that I had to talk about today, and some of the things that I didn't want to talk about, but wound up talking about them anyway. I really appreciate you. If you guys want me to talk about something, or if you have something that that you would just like to, I guess, send me in terms of topics, or something you want me to cover on one of the episodes, just go ahead and email me at contactlance@gmail.com. I'll put it in the description for YouTube listeners and shit. But for those of you that are listening to this, contact Lance. The Lance is with 2 L's. So it's contactlance, 2 L's.com, right? If you can figure that out, then you deserve to have your topic covered. and I'll talk about it. If you got some random weird shit you want to send me, we'll talk about it on the podcast. I told you guys I want to get you more involved as well. Because right now I'm just kind of like I said, I'm just taking it day by day and seeing what wacky shit happens, and then we talk about it and we chill and we have a good time. And I hope that you are enjoying listening to this. If you're watching it on YouTube, I hope you have enjoyed watching this as well. And yeah, I'll be back whenever I've got some more shit to talk about. All right, y'all take it easy.